When we traveled through Sicily last month, we spent days on the seashore and days inland. The seafood, the shorelines, these are obviously remarkable parts of this island. But I'm a farmer at heart. And so after basking in the busyness and the hustle and the seawater in Santa Flavia and Palermo, I was very keen to travel inland to the middle of the island. That was, of course, until we got into our little rental car and began driving on the very windy, mountainous roads of central Sicily that were built for livestock and not for motor vehicles. But car sickness is the worthwhile cost of what has become one of my favorite places on earth, Feudo Montoni. Even though this was our first time meeting Fabio and Melissa in person, because we share such a heart for soil and for this way of life, it was a meeting of kindred souls and what felt like a reunion of old friends. Feudo Montoni is located in the center of Sicily, up in the mountainous region that is most well known for growing durum wheat, used primarily, of course, for pasta and country breads. But Feudo Montoni doesn't grow durum wheat like the surrounding farms. Rather, they grow what this ground has grown for hundreds and hundreds of years: grapes. What continually struck me as we began to discover Feudo Montoni was how I was thousands and thousands of miles away from home, enveloped in a culture that I didn't fully understand, surrounded by unfamiliar soil, and yet it was so similar to what I know. The area that I come from in Washington State is known for dryland wheat farming and winemaking. I could have been anywhere in north central Washington, but I was here with Dolores of Bella Figura, with Fabio, with Melissa, and I was so very glad to be. Around each turn, there was something new, from bleached autumn wheat blowing in the wind to the dessert grapes drying in the sunshine to the 600-year-old courtyard where we began our journey. A courtyard where each stone feels like it has a story that it wants to tell. Layers of life are intermixed with soil and Sicilian sunshine. This place makes sense to me.
The vineyard is for me, for the family, for the history, the heart of our work here. Mm-hmm. Here from 6th century, there are the vineyard.
From the 6th
and
for the last 6 centuries.
For the last 6
so from
centuries.
1469 when the Balio was constructed.
My family from the end of the 18th century. So we are the third generation, with Elio and Francesco, and now for us it's important to carry on the traditions, tradition, roots, and everything that is deep here. In all sense, with the wine, but with the culture, with everything that is in this area of Sicily. It's important to say, in my opinion, that we are in the heart of Sicily geographically, but in the heart of Sicily too for the soul. Because Sicily, of course, has a beautiful place like Palermo, like Taormina, but these are more tourist and developed in the good sense,
touched
in the
by
bad
globalization,
with the civilization.
If you're looking to touch the essence of Sicily, its history, its soul, it's here.
This is right here. Yeah.
Where we are.
Yeah.
That's where we are. This is where it is.
Because globalization you don't feel the effects of globalization and modern world here. It's absolutely an enclave, and not just Montoni, but its surrounding area. It's like being living in a hermitage, basically, in a sense.
Well, I'm really excited for you guys to show us around and to see more of what you do. It's inspiring just looking at it.
it's so
To dive into the details is really special.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we are going to touch the soul.
Yes.
Sicily.
Okay. Yes.
and the soul.
And
Soil and soul.
soil and soul. Very similar. I understand. Yes. Okay. Andiamo.
Amoni, brava. Andiamo.
This has been here since when?
It was built on 1469.
14. So not that old. I mean,
Before Columbus discovered the Americas.
Columbus traveled to discover USA.
this was.
We were here. This
Absolutely.
was the area where there was the socializzazione.
Socialization.
My mother remember that in the evening there was people that arrived here, 100 people, and there was a who sing the guitar, who
Like the
sung
piazza in a town. Yeah.
and here started the love.
Yeah.
Here started the
People fell in love here.
right.
And then there was the famous serenata of your father,
Right.
who one night came along on the dark country roads with having a group of musicians play music, and Fabio's mother was at the window and said, "It can't be for me, it must be for my beautiful niece here." And she said, it must not be for me. And she went to the window, and it was Fabio's father who serenaded and who proposed in that moment to
So
my
the
mother-in-law.
key words is love.
Is love. Okay.
What are you gonna do? I feel like it's really similar to what you do. I mean, in a way. I mean, they live here, they work here, their families here, their land is here. Their livelihood is here, and that's a lot of what you guys are doing on your homestead. It's just a different version.
Your lifestyle, your work, your
Right.
family,
Correct.
even like the neighbor, the surrounding, it's all tied together.
Yeah.
Before Fabio loaded us up in the trailer to take us around the vineyards, he first stopped to explain the family crest that sits at the entrance to Feudo Montoni. Half of this crest is written in Latin, half of it is in Spanish. The gist of the inscription is this: life has many challenges and many trials, but we have been given a heart burning with passion to conquer these challenges.
Flame. So it's interesting how the two culture, the Latin is more rational and a bit pessimist. Said, take care that there are a lot of challenge and problem to solve. But the Spanish said, okay, no problem. With your passion, you will solve everything.
With your burning heart,
With
like your
burning
passion.
heart, with your passion.
Okay.
That's very interesting because it's the two opposite of life, and I think of Sicily too. Sicily is always
Fluid.
between pessimism and optimism. Probably because we have the mix of the blood.
So we have people say sometimes, isn't what you do, growing your food, butchering your animals, or even having a lot of children, isn't that hard? Isn't
Right.
that hard work?
Everything.
And we just say, so what?
problem.
That's not the
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
It's all a challenge
Yeah.
in its own way. No matter what life you live, there's always the challenge.
Yeah.
And we would choose this challenge. Yeah.
Kamikoto is the sponsor of this video here on the Elliott Homestead, and once again, we are so excited to get to share this wonderful company with you. These are the knives that we use in our kitchen. They're made using a traditional Japanese technique used by Japanese craftsmen, and it takes years to master and to make these knives from Japanese steel. They're individually inspected, come with a lifetime guarantee, and are delivered to you in a beautiful ash wood box that makes them ideal for storage or travel. These knives are used in Michelin star kitchens around the world for good reason. They're so incredibly sharp and so wonderfully well balanced. Kamikoto has been kind enough to offer Elliott Homestead viewers a discount. So visit kamikoto.com/The Elliott to get $50 off your purchase of Kamikoto knives.
This is old crew of Nero d'Avola. Nero d'Avola is the famous grape, Sicilian grape. Is
We
one
drank
of the
we
most,
drank this last night, right?
right.
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And it's
okay.
called the Brucara. Why we are here? Because all the estate is 44 hectares and of a vineyard.
of the estate.
Okay.
But the queen of the vineyard is this one. This is very important for different reasons. First of all, because it's the holder. Here, when my grandfather bought the land at the 80, he bought the land from Cardinal from Catania.
Feudo Montoni functions under an umbrella of labor, of history, of passion, of duty, of heritage. Fabio's grandfather bought this land in the late 1880s, and since that time, their family has been tending to the vines that still live on the farm from all those years ago. Fabio and Melissa are now raising their two boys, Elio and Francesco, both still very young, to be the next generation of Feudo Montoni farmers, the next caretakers of this land and of these vines.
That's the majority of what you'll find, and this is a very special place because they're actually the original vines.
So does that mean that these vines are these aren't that old?
No, they're absolutely
They
that
are.
old.
From the 1880s?
See,
Absolutely.
and before too.
Right, and before.
So, Prefillossera, that means that is pure for the roots, in the European concept of roots.
There is an overarching aroma in Sicily that I find a lot of comfort in. There is this deep commitment to the long haul and to the long suffering. Sicilians seem to have this wonderful way about them in which they can put their head down, put their heart down, and tend very well to their work and to their family. As Fabio reminded me multiple times in our conversations, with so much out of their control throughout history, they've learned very well how to take care of their own families and their lands. Within these four walls, he would say, take care of what's within these four walls. To tend to what is in their control, what is in front of them, rather than being concerned with political winds shifting this way or that way. They're instead committed to what's in front of them right now. And right now, it's land and family and harvest.
We are lucky. We have 350 days of sun shining. We have all the conditions to make beautiful grapes. But he was looking for the identity. He was looking for the history. This gave to me strong
Encouragement, sure. Confidence.
And so I said to my father, okay, we can continue to make this wine.
Yeah.
And now, after 30, 40 years, the world is understanding that the wine of the south of the world are not like the stereotype want that they are. So everything is now in direction of wine with more elegance.
With uniqueness,
Right.
character,
Exactly.
like a true expression of where it's from.
But this is a love job.
Yes, a love job.
love
I
job.
was,
Of
I was,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
Harvesting these old vines, I imagine, is very time consuming because when they're perfectly trellised and you have people in there harvesting, you just and just go.
Yeah, because
This you have to pull them
here
apart.
cannot enter the machine. Everything is by hand.
Right.
There is a special staff that work here all the year. Everything must be done like in a museum.
Yeah.
You can make damage.
You can
Yeah,
easily
damaged,
damage.
yeah,
But, so
yeah.
he's saying not just the harvest, but all year round. We have a special staff that takes care of just
Of just this vineyard.
Absolutely.
This is why we're all here, but this is a collection of people who will actually go through that much trouble
Yes.
to preserve culture
duty.
and feel a responsibility to do that. And fortunately or unfortunately, I never can really decide. We live in a society that, in a time, I should say, that tells us this kind of lie that everything new is best. And everything easy and fast is best.
Yeah.
And you really have to surround yourself with people like this who feel like you do and remind you that that's really not, that's not necessarily the truth.
The goal.
And
That's not even
Yeah.
the line that we're trying to get to.
Yeah. Like you often say, we're not even having the same
We're not having the same conversation.
Right. It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
And so some people might look at all of this that you just described and all that work and just think you're crazy, but then there's a lot of people in your audience among them who get it and love it. And I can't wait to drink these wines that come from these ancient Southern Italian vineyards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The umbilical cord.
Fabio describes their work here at Feudo Montoni as a love job. This isn't a shackle on his ankle that he's been trying to kick off generationally. I think this passing of land and heritage is symbolized very perfectly in how Feudo Montoni raises up new vines from what they call the queen of the vineyard, or the mother vine, a vine that has been here as long as anyone can recount. Think about this. This vine has stood proudly in these soils from before the American Civil War, through World War II, through Italy's unification. This vine has grown and provided through all of it. But even grapevines, they don't live forever. And in order to get new vines from the queen of the vineyard, they will take a branch from her and bury it while it's still attached to her a meter down below the soil line. Over time, that branch begins to grow roots, and over time, they will begin to restrict the flow of sap from the mother vine to the baby vine. So what's created is a vine that's of the mother, but over time has become now newly independent. So the genetic makeup of these heirloom vines are being passed down perfectly to the next generation of the vines that will actually produce for the wines. This is not a restriction, but a rich blessing. These new vines are carrying with them a heritage.
That the instinct of the vines is to give the blood, the energy to the baby.
Feudo Montoni and Sicily, they have a song to sing. It's a gift to live in a world with modern travel and the internet so that people like me from thousands of miles away can not only hear this song, but get to be a partaker in it. The cellars of this ancient vineyard, they sing, and they sing loudly. Feudo Montoni does it all right here on Sicilian ground, from the grapes being grown and harvested to being fermented, aged in barrels, bottles, packed, shipped, right from this very soil, right from this very property. What kept coming to my mind was what a deep devotion this is to hard work, toilsome labor, and love. And across the world, this is a devotion that I really understand. When easy stops being your goal, the world opens up to a cornucopia of possibilities that lie before us.
But we don't want to make only a beautiful wine. We want to make something, because that is special wine. Now the wine is good everywhere in the world. It's difficult to find bad wine. What is difficult for us is to make, what is the challenge for us is to make wine that has the personality of the land. So our job, mine, Melissa, and Giusy. Giusy is the wine cellar manager. Try with the winemaker, try to preserve the identity that we have and that we have the for which we grow the grapes.
Yeah. It's like the taste is like the magic element of it, trying to find that.
If you are wrong over 1, 2, 3 days in the right time of harvest, you destroy everything.
Well, that's bad news for me because I left all my wine grapes at home to come here.
Don't worry, if your wine is not good, I can send to you the wine and we can make a balance.
And sounds to me like I talked to them before we left, and I said, "Don't be ready yet, because we won't be back yet."
What do you say here when you cheers in this area, in this town?
Of course, a salute is international. Alla salute.
Here, what do you say?
Generally, what you feel, what you want,
okay,
what you feel, what we want.
Okay, so what do you feel right now?
We want our friendship. We want our happiness. We want our health, and we want that we stay always in touch, just to share how much is beautiful Sicily and Italy.
Va bene.
Okay.
United, so we create like a rainbow bridge between the United States.
You like that? You like that?
The word companion literally means someone whom you would break bread with or share a meal with. This is a universal language that we all speak, whether we're in Sicily or Washington. A set table filled with food is ripe for fellowship, and this is what I love. There is a foundation of commonality among us all, a language that we all speak. Hard work, devotion, love for our children and our families, love for our countries, challenges, burning hearts of passion, plates filled with pasta. As Fabio says, soil and soul. The desire to tap into something that was here long before us and to do our part in creating something that will carry on a legacy for our own long beyond our passing. I smile thinking about Fabio's grandfather who worked hard to buy this land almost 150 years ago, a land that is now being tended to by his grandson and will eventually be tended to by his great-grandsons. This is a legacy. This is a voice. This is a song that this land sings now and always. From ancient mountain cheeses to midnight ricotta making to Melissa's special Christmas lamb, we will be sharing more videos from our time at Feudo Montoni over the coming days. Our time in the vineyards at Feudo Montoni may be done, but our Sicilian travels with Fabio and Melissa, well, there's still much to discover, so stay tuned.